to be given an opportunity to host this remarkable event that aims at showcasing and sensitizing African heads of state on the importance of investing in human capital for sustainable economic growth in our continent.
May I request all of us to please stand up? Can we all please stand up? And let's clap our hands as the guest of honor is coming into the venue. Thank you very much. Kindly be seated.
Moja kwa moja ya mkutano wa wakuu wa nchi za Afrika kuhusu mtaji wa rasilimali watu unaofanyika basi katika kituo cha kimataifa cha mikutano cha Julius Nyerere JNICC hapa jijini Dar es Salaam, na hii leo basi ikiwa ni siku ya ufunguzi wa mkutano huu ambao utaanza basi kwa ngazi ya mawaziri hapa jijini Dar es Salaam, mkutano ambao utakuwa ni wa siku mbili, tarehe 25 na 26, ambapo tarehe 26 kutakuwa ni mkutano ule wa wakuu wa nchi sasa za Afrika watakaojadili kuhusiana na mtaji huu wa rasilimali watu barani Afrika. Mimi naitwa Ahmed Salum, nikukaribisha katika matangazo haya kabisa, na hivi sasa basi tuweze kuelekea kwa mshereheshaji wa hafla hii kuweza kufahamu kile kinachoendelea.
I'd like to recognize the presence of Madam Manta Muti, the Vice President for Human Development at the World Bank. I would also like to recognize the presence of Honorable Engineer Zena Said, the Secretary of the Revolutionary Council and the Chief Secretary of Zanzibar. I would also like to recognize the presence of Honorable Dr. Peter Mathuki, the Secretary General of the East Africa Community. In a very special way, I would like to recognize the presence of Ambassador Tordeda Ratebaye from the Africa Union Commission, Deputy Chief of Staff, who is representing the Chairman of the Africa Union Commission. In a very special way, I would like also to recognize the presence of Graca Machel, the former First Lady of the Republic of South Africa. Honorable Ministers present, Honorable Permanent Secretaries present, Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and heads of international organizations accredited to Tanzania, distinguished participants, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I would like to welcome you all to the Africa Human Capital Head of State Summit, which is taking place here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, at the JNICC. Can we put our hands together, recognizing all the efforts that have been put together to organizing this great summit. I would now like to invite to the podium for the welcoming remarks the Minister for Finance of the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Dr. Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba. Can we put our hands together as he comes to the podium?
Honorable Dr. Philip Mpango, the Vice President, the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Madam Victoria Kwakwa, the Vice President of the World Bank Group responsible for the Eastern and South, my brother, Minister for Finance and Deputy Prime Minister from Cape Verde, Madam, the Vice President responsible for human capital, the World Bank Group, allow me on the outset to thank the Almighty God for allowing us to gather here today, which demonstrates the support on human capital development agenda in our continent. Allow me also to thank the World Bank Group, both from Washington and Dar es Salaam office, for their tireless support to the Minister of Finance since the inception, launching, and today's main event. Honorable Vice President, surely it has been a fruitful and notable process to organize and prepare the Africa Head of State Human Capital Summit while advancing into a global agenda to accelerate investments in human capital as a response to overlapping crises. On behalf of the government of Tanzania and on behalf of our ministry, allow me to extend our sincere gratitude for the support not only in organizing this event, but also with the wide range of development interventions that the World Bank has been supporting to our country. As I stand before you, allow me to share some remarkable steps that has been made in accelerating human capital outcomes in Tanzania. Our nation's commitment to investing in our people has been strong, and the results have been achieved at a testimony to collective efforts that the government has been doing. Honorable Vice President, my colleagues, ministers, ladies and gentlemen, the first and foremost, we have prioritized education as a fundamental pillar for human capital development. Under the banner of our Quality Education for All program, we have undertaken comprehensive measures to improve access, enhance quality, and ensure the relevance of education across the country. In collaboration with various stakeholders, we have made significant investment in infrastructure development, that is construction of classrooms, administration blocks, and education policy reforms. These efforts have yielded positive outcomes, empowering our youth with the knowledge and the skills necessary to thrive in ever-evolving world. Honorable Vice President, Your Excellency Vice President, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, recognizing the importance of equipping our youth with practical skills, we strongly emphasize on strengthening technical and vocational training by foregoing strategic partnerships with the private sector. We have aligned technical and vocational education and training programs with the need of industries, creating and integrating pathway from education to employment. Currently, we are designing programs that will prepare graduates to all levels, even dropouts, to seize opportunities and contribute meaningfully to the workforce. Your Excellency, Vice President, ladies and gentlemen, in the year 2016, the government introduced a free basic education policy making, marking a pre-primary, primary, and lower secondary education, free, waiving all the registration exam fees. The policy has attributed to an immediate increase in enrollment by over 38% in pre-primary enrollment and over 44% in Form 1, and it has also contributed to improving access to education, rapid pace, and improving access for girls. And recently, the government under her leadership of Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, has included a fee-free at advanced level secondary education to provide more opportunities to youth and accessing advanced education. Your Excellency, Vice President, and my colleague ministers, ladies and gentlemen, in the field of healthcare, we have taken significant intervention to ensure that our citizens have access to quality health services through extensive infrastructure development, particularly in underserved rural areas, and we have expanded health facilities, bringing essential medical care closer to our people. As of now, we have in operation 217 government hospitals, which include the national, regional, referral hospitals, designated district and specialized hospitals, and also we have 725 dispensaries and 5,719 health centers nationwide. Simultaneously, we have continued to invest in enhancing the capacity of our health workforce through comprehensive training programs and incentives to attract and retain skilled professionals. As a result, our nation's healthcare system has become more resilient and responsive to the needs of our population. Your Excellency, Vice President, my colleague ministers, ladies and gentlemen, Tanzania continues to curb poverty and income inequalities through implementation of various programs, such as perspective of social safety net, that is PSSN, as part of the strategy. The program intends to improve social services delivery, capacity enhancement for communities, rehabilitation of healthcare facilities, schools, and other small-scale infrastructure. The program has resulted in successfully improving human capital outcomes among the poor. And the rapid expansion of safety nets is all countrywide. As mentioned earlier, none of these achievements would have been possible without our international and national development partners' unwavering support and collaboration. Their financial assistance and technical expertise have played a vital role in enhancing the effectiveness and impact of our human capital initiative. Together, through joint monitoring and evaluation frameworks, we have ensured accountability and measured the true impact of collective efforts. Furthermore, we have embraced the power of knowledge exchange, learning opportunities, and others. By actively engaging with countries that have successfully implemented human capital development strategies, we have fostered a culture of sharing best practices and lessons learned. The cross-pollination of ideas and experiences has accelerated our progress and allowed us to avoid potential pitfalls. Tanzania is proud of having accelerated human capital outcomes through our steadfast commitment to education and healthcare. We remain dedicated to the cause, knowing that the journey toward fully harnessing the potential of our people is an ongoing process, and we invite other nations to learn from the experience, collaborate with us, and join hands in building a bright future where human capital serves the bedrock of sustainable development. We believe that this summit will be a catalyst for transformative change in Africa's pursuit of human capital development. And lastly, it is a great honor and indeed to welcome the Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, who is here with us today. His Excellency Dr. Philip Isidori Mpango, to deliver his opening remarks. I thank you very much, Your Excellency Vice President. Thank you very much.
Honorable Dr. Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba, Minister of Finance, United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Engineer Zena Said, Secretary of the Revolutionary Council and Chief Secretary of Zanzibar, Madam Victoria Kwakwa, Vice President of the World Bank East and Southern African Region, Madam Mamta Murithi, the Vice President of the World Bank for Human Development, Ambassador Todeta Rotabea, African Union Commissioning Deputy Chief of Staff, representing the Chairman of the African Union Commission, Honorable Ministers present, Permanent Secretaries, Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and heads of international organizations accredited to Tanzania, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with great pleasure and honor that I join you to officiate the opening of the technical session of the 2023 Heads of State Summit on Human Capital. On behalf of Her Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, I wish to welcome you to Dar es Salaam and to Tanzania in general. Karibuni sana. Tanzania is greatly honored to host this important summit, and it is our sincere hope that you will have had a pleasant stay so far, and please feel at home. Allow me to thank the World Bank for partnering with Tanzania and other African states to convene this summit. The summit has been organized in a manner that facilitates interactive discussions and bottom-up prioritization of human capital development needs so as to inform policies as well as resource allocation. And at the outset, I wish to reaffirm my country's commitment to make the 2023 Human Capital Summit a success and a catalyst for increased investment in human capital. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 African Heads of State Human Capital Summit provides yet another opportunity for Africa to discuss and strategize on how to turn around human capital potential for development and prosperity of our countries. The theme of this summit, that is accelerating Africa's economic growth, boosting youth productivity by improving learning, skills, and productivity of youth, reminds us of the potentials of our youth to invigorate economic advancement in our countries if we carefully invest in their education, skills, and aspirations. It is our expectation that the summit will in earnest work to achieve this noble goal. Excellencies and distinguished guests, the UN reports on Sustainable Development Goals indicate that African countries still face difficulties in achieving SDGs for human capital development, particularly those linked to education, health, and social protection. Thus, there is a global call for more investment in the education sector. It is estimated that in low and middle-income countries, almost 40% of people aged 0 to 14 who attend school will be from Africa by the year 2050. It is further estimated that learning poverty will rise by 10 percentage points to more than 60 in developing countries worldwide, and from 83% to more than 90% in the poorest countries. This therefore calls for prompt actions to address potential demographic concerns by making smart investments in our people's health, as well as high-quality education that equips our youth with the required knowledge and skills for our country's economic success. Excellencies, development success stories across the globe have demonstrated that productivity, economic transformation, and well-being of a country hinge on accumulation of a critical mass of productive human capital endowment. While African countries have continued to register a windfall in population growth averaging 2.4% per annum, the average human capital index score for the continent of around 0.4 is still quite low to realize transformative value addition per worker. To make things worse, the COVID-19 pandemic, global conflicts, as well as adverse effects of climate change have led to unprecedented disruptions of programs on human capital development and labor productivity in Africa. Therefore, this summit comes at an opportune time to Africa to prioritize human capital development agenda in order to safeguard the milestones covered in human capital development over the last decade from being lost. And my appeal to all of us and our development partners is to mobilize resources for increased investment in learning, health, nutrition, inclusive development, and social protection. In tandem, I challenge all the experts attending this summit to come up with innovative policies that will improve Africa's human capital outcomes, capitalizing on the bulging young population. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me try complement what Minister Mwigulu just told us in terms of sharing Tanzania's endeavors and experiences in building its human capital development. So we have scaled up financing for education from 17.9% in 2019-2020 to 18.9% in 2021-2022 of the total budget. That means we are approaching the 20% agreed for 2030. The budgets for health and agriculture have also increased significantly. And to expand outreach and efficiency of social service delivery, Tanzania has, over the past 2 years, focused on improvement of hard and soft infrastructure. We have constructed and renovated classrooms, healthcare facilities, installed telemedicine hubs, X-rays and MRI machines for all regional hospitals. We have improved the teacher and healthcare workers training, taking into account inclusive strategies, particularly investing in vulnerable groups. We have strengthened the National Health Insurance Fund by increasing service delivery centers, increased the supply of medicines, and implemented free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education for all, including allowing teenage mothers to resume their studies after delivery. Tanzania has also rolled out a countrywide social safety net program under the Tanzania Social Action Fund, TASAF, and financial inclusion programs to support access to social services. On financial inclusion, significant investment has been made in digital infrastructure and interoperability, which have in turn contributed to wider coverage of branchless banking and mobile money services. And consequently, financial inclusion increased from 65% of the adult population in 2017 to 73% in 2023. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the interventions that I've just outlined yielded some quite impressive results. And these include an increase in primary school enrollment rate from 85% in 2015 to 97% in 2021, with gross completion rate in primary school reaching 100% in 2022, compared to only 80% in 2015. The other notable achievements include attainment of gender parity, ratio of 1:1, a standard number of 40 to 50 pupils in a classroom, technical and vocational training centers built in 30 out of the 31 regions in the country, and the number of fully fledged universities and university colleges increased from 1 in 1961 to 52 this year, 2023. And integrated digital technology in the education system, involving distribution of tablets to school teachers to facilitate digital education, and the institution of online school registration system. With regard to the health sector, infant and under 5 mortality declined from 67 deaths per 1,000 live births in 2015 to 43 per 1,000 live births in 2022. The number of persons with health insurance cover increased by 30% from 3.5 million in 2016 to nearly 5 million in 2021. Health facilities have a score set of essential medicines available and affordable on a sustainable basis, increased to 78% in 2022 compared to a mere 1% in 2015. On HIV/AIDS, Tanzania is now attaining epidemic control and achieving fast track and 99 to 99 targets. Currently, 89.7% of people living with HIV know their status, of which 99% of them are on ARVs and 96% of them have suppressed HIV viral load to an undetectable level. And consequently, life expectancy in Tanzania increased from 60 years in 2010 to 66 years in 2022. Other milestones worth noting include improved food security, which reversed in trends in all forms of malnutrition for children. The prevalence of stunted growth declined from 34% to 30% for the period between 2015 and 2022. The health of women of reproductive age, which is 15 to 49 years, also improved over the period, with prevalence of anemia falling from 44.8% in 2015 to 28.8% in 2022. The proportion of the population covered by social protection reached 25% in 2022 compared to 9% in 2015. The Productive Social Safety Net program is now a global best practice, having expanded to cover all rural households in the country. And furthermore, evidence from an impact evaluation of the Productive Social Safety Net on youth well-being and the transition to adulthood across the poor households suggests that the program has successfully improved human capital for beneficiary poor households and improved access to education and health services, as well as skills for the target group. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in order to consolidate the gains, first, Tanzania is currently reviewing the Education and Training Policy of 2014, Education Act, and curricula. And the review aims at improving the education system to cater for talent development, hands-on skills, building competencies, positive thinking, and acquaint graduates with cutting-edge technology. The review is further expected to increase youth productivity, competitiveness in labor market, as well as preparing graduates to become job creators and not job seekers. Second, we are embarking on extending technical and vocational training centers to cover all the 184 districts in the country. And thirdly, efforts are also being directed at embracing learning, digital revolution, and scaling up social service delivery and rural electrification to reach out to all the villages. And similarly, we are expanding ICT infrastructure development, taking advantage of a rapid digital uptake in the country, which is evidenced by an increase in the population, in the proportion of adult individuals using internet from 36.5% in 2015 to 49% in 2021. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, allow me to throw a few thoughts that I find to be necessary for unlocking human capital potential in our continent. First, given the limited fiscal space of most African countries, I am of the view that regional and multilateral financial institutions need to do more to devise innovative financing solutions in support of Africa's drive to accelerate human capital development. We should all note that human capital investment is long-term in nature and therefore requires low-cost financing with low-term maturity. Second, the private sector is a key beneficiary of human capital development efforts, and I therefore call upon this meeting to discuss on how best the private sector could be motivated to actively collaborate with governments as co-sponsors and co-producers of quality human capital. And third, I firmly believe that our training institutions, being key players in human capital development, can and should help the continent bolster local capacities to effectively manage and exploit our natural resource endowment. It is an irony that the continent spends much of its financial resources to improve knowledge for harnessing our own natural resource wealth. African training institutions should therefore reposition themselves and collaborate amongst themselves to produce homegrown solutions to Africa's challenges. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, under the African Union Agenda 2063, the continent has made human capital development one of its primary flagship themes. This theme is centered on improving access to healthcare and education for all people, advancing gender equality, empowering women, and developing the necessary skills and competencies for growth and transformation of the continent. By 2025, the African Union hopes to have at least 70% of African children enrolled in pre-primary education while also prioritizing investments in tertiary and higher education, as well as technical and vocational training programs. That means we have a very short time left to deliver. I therefore wish to take this opportunity to encourage all of us to take advantage of this forum to learn, share experiences, network, and search for opportunities to lift up Africa's stock of quality human capital, which is very critical for realizing the Africa we want. With these remarks, I'm very pleased to announce that the technical session of the Summit on Human Capital is now officially launched. And I thank you for your kind attention. Asante sana.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1, ni makamu wa rais huyo Dr. Philip Mpango akizindua rasmi basi ufunguzi huu wa mkutano wa wakuu wa nchi za Afrika ambao unahusu mtaji wa rasilimali watu, ambapo hii leo basi ni ngazi ya mawaziri, na amezungumza mengi ambayo ana imani katika huu mkutano wa nchi za Afrika kuhusiana na hiyo mtaji wa rasilimali watu. Dr. Philip Mpango amezungumzia kuhusiana na kwamba kwanza ana imani kwamba, hebu kwanza turudi kwanza kule katika mkutano kumsikiliza mshereheshaji,
which is going to be presented by Honorable Dr. Olavo Avelino Garcia Correira, the Vice Prime Minister of Cape Verde. Kindly, let's proceed as our guest of honor has to run. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me switch to Portuguese. I think we have translation. Muito bom dia a todos. Yeah. Okay. This channel for the translator. We have information about the channel. Okay.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1 aliyeko basi kwenye turudi tena kwa ajili ya kusikiliza.
Presidente da República Unida da Tanzânia, Sr. Dr. Felipe Isidore Mpango, Excelência, Senhora Vice-Presidente do Banco Mundial, Doutora Vitória Kwakwa, Senhora Vice-Presidente do Banco Mundial para a área do capital humano, Senhor Ministro das Finanças da República Unida da Tanzânia, ilustres chefes de Estado, ministros, pontos focais do capital humano e delegados do governo de toda a região aqui presentes, prezados participantes, caros convidados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores. Quero, desde logo, agradecer todas as exposições que foram colocadas à nossa disposição e à disposição das nossas delegações, pelas entidades oficiais da República Unida da Tanzânia e também pelo apoio do Banco Mundial para estarmos aqui presentes. É para nós um enorme prazer estarmos aqui neste país africano, Tanzânia. Um país belíssimo. Eu, antes de conhecer a Tanzânia, pensava que Cabo Verde era o país mais belo do mundo. Mas depois de estar aqui, já vi que temos um grande concorrente. Tanzânia é um país belíssimo. Um país belíssimo onde vamos discutir um tema que é crucial e que é crítico para a África e para o mundo. O capital humano, o emprego jovem, as competências, a pobreza e a pobreza extrema. Eu sou Ministro das Finanças de Cabo Verde. Se eu tiver um único euro, um único escudo, ou um único dólar, dentre todas as opções que eu tenho à minha frente para investir, eu não tenho dúvidas nenhumas que eu investiria no capital humano. Porque nós podemos construir estradas, portos, aeroportos, podemos ter edifícios belíssimos, mas se não tivermos recursos humanos qualificados e preparados para rentabilizar esses investimentos, podemos não ter o retorno. Mas se formarmos os recursos humanos capacitados, qualificados, mesmo não tivermos estradas, portos e aeroportos, são esses recursos humanos, são esses jovens, são essas mulheres que vão cuidar e seguramente que vamos ter no futuro estradas, portos e aeroportos. Por isso, é fundamental que investamos no capital humano. Esse é um apelo a todo o continente, a todos nós que temos a responsabilidade de liderar o continente africano. Investamos no capital humano. É um investimento com o retorno certo. É um investimento com o retorno garantido. O nosso continente está confrontado com desafios acrescidos. É um continente jovem. É um continente que está a crescer muito em termos populacionais. Devemos duplicar a nossa população até 2050, passando de 1,3 mil milhões de pessoas para 2,5 mil milhões de pessoas. É um desafio enorme para a educação, para a saúde, para a segurança, para o emprego, para o acesso à energia, para o acesso à água, para a habitação, para o saneamento, mas também para a educação dos nossos jovens. Dizia a minha amiga Vitória Kwakwa, durante o African Caucus na Ilha do Sal, que o continente africano não está no lugar que deveria estar. E eu concordo. Mas se não está no lugar que devia estar, temos de mudar. Não podemos ficar onde estamos. Para não ficar onde estamos, o apelo é mudar. Temos de mudar. E para mudar, não podemos continuar a fazer da mesma forma. Temos de mudar a abordagem, sermos mais ambiciosos, novas atitudes, novas práticas, para fazermos mais com mais escala, para fazermos mais rápido, mas sobretudo com impacto nas nossas populações. A pandemia da Covid-19, mas também a guerra na Ucrânia, agravaram os desafios do nosso continente. Trouxeram novas exigências ao tema do emprego, da cribagem digital, da insegurança energética e alimentar, problema da dívida, da inflação, mas nada disso é relevante para assumirmos o nosso compromisso com os nossos jovens, com as nossas crianças e com as mulheres africanas. E, em boa verdade, caros amigos, caros africanos, ministros, nós temos em todo o mundo coisas belíssimas. Pontes, montanhas, vales, lagos, praias, edifícios. Mas eu não tenho dúvidas de que o mais belo de tudo e de todos são as pessoas, são os jovens, são as mulheres, são as crianças. E essas pessoas merecem o nosso investimento, o nosso engajamento, o nosso foco, para que possam ter condições para viver com dignidade e em dignidade. E em boa verdade, não faz sentido que milhões de africanos não têm acesso à energia. Não se pode falar hoje de educação sem energia, sem água potável. Como é que se pode explicar hoje, nós, líderes africanos, que milhões de nossos conterrâneos não têm acesso à água potável, não têm acesso à energia, não têm acesso à educação, não têm acesso ao emprego e ao emprego jovem qualificado? Milhões de africanos jovens estão a procurar deixar o continente por falta de oportunidades. É fundamental que assumamos as nossas responsabilidades com o nosso continente, porque os parceiros podem ajudar, e o Banco Mundial tem ajudado muito nos últimos anos em matéria do capital humano. Aumentou o seu portfólio com o continente africano em matéria de capital humano para 8,9 bilhões de dólares americanos. Mais 9 bilhões para projetos ligados às mulheres. E também toda uma conexão dos projetos do Banco Mundial com o capital humano. Mas, mais uma vez, mesmo que o Banco Mundial triplique o seu portfólio de investimentos, se nós, africanos, não assumamos as nossas responsabilidades com a liderança para que tenhamos um continente africano mais democrático, mais transparente, para que protejamos os direitos das mulheres e garantamos a igualdade de género, para que garantamos o acesso à educação, à saúde, à energia, a todas as crianças, a todos os jovens e a todos os adolescentes africanos, por mais que o Banco Mundial triplique o portfólio, os problemas vão continuar. Essa responsabilidade é nossa e ninguém pode substituir-nos neste quesito. O Banco Mundial é um parceiro, agradeço o grande engajamento do Banco Mundial, mas quero fazer um apelo às lideranças africanas que assumamos as nossas responsabilidades com o continente. É quase vergonhoso que milhões de africanos não têm acesso à energia. É quase vergonhoso que milhões de dólares americanos são transferidos para fora em financiamentos ilícitos, em corrupção, em pilhagem de recursos naturais, quando temos crianças, jovens e meninas a morrer de fome porque não têm acesso a bens básicos e a bens essenciais. Onde estamos, não podemos continuar. Temos de mudar. E a mudança não começa com o envelope financeiro, com o cheque. A mudança começa com a atitude, com comportamentos e com a mudança de abordagem em relação ao futuro do continente. Menos corrupção, corrupção zero. É preciso fechar as portas ao branqueamento de capitais, ao financiamento ilícito. É preciso fechar as portas à utilização indevida dos recursos naturais em África e colocar tudo isto ao serviço dos jovens africanos, das mulheres africanas e das meninas africanas. E assim, com mais envelope do Banco Mundial e de outros parceiros, conseguiremos atingir os objetivos. Este é o meu grande apelo. E olhar para o capital humano numa perspectiva holística, porque o nosso foco é a pessoa. A educação para a pessoa, a saúde para a pessoa, o emprego para a pessoa, o saneamento para a pessoa, conectividade para a pessoa. É a pessoa humana. É uma criança, um jovem, uma mulher, um africano. É para a pessoa é que nós temos de olhar para o tema do capital humano. Eu quero deixar esta nota que este é um dos temas mais importantes que estamos a debater. Eu incito o Banco Mundial, mas também a Tanzânia, a República Unida da Tanzânia e todos os países africanos, aqui continuemos a debater este tema. Porque se há tema importante para o futuro da África e do mundo, é o capital humano em África. É a dignidade da pessoa humana em África. É criarmos as condições para que cada africano possa ter o mínimo para viver com dignidade e em dignidade. Este é um tema que não nos pode deixar calados. E mais do que deixar calados, temos de agir. Se não estamos no lugar onde devíamos estar, temos de mudar. E para mudar, não basta apenas falar, temos de agir. Um apelo também à ação para que as coisas mudem no continente africano. E temos um continente que tem tudo. Tem recursos humanos, tem jovens, tem mulheres, tem recursos financeiros, porque nós somos exportadores líquidos de capital. Temos recursos naturais, a África é riquíssima. Temos um continente belíssimo do ponto de vista territorial. E temos parceiros a nível global, privados e públicos, para investir no continente africano. E, portanto, o que é que falta? Essa é a questão que não nos pode calar. O que é que falta? O que é que falta para fazermos a mudança? Para darmos o salto? Liderança, boa governação, transparência, responsabilidade, accountability. Este é o tema que nós temos de olhar com responsabilidade. E quero falar-vos de Cabo Verde, um pequeno estado insular arquipelágico, que há cerca de 45 anos já era considerado como um país inviável e que tem feito progressos importantes nos últimos anos. Nós garantimos o acesso à educação a todas as crianças de Cabo Verde, pago pelos contribuintes cabo-verdianos. Garantimos o acesso à saúde a todos os cabo-verdianos. Ao nível da energia, acesso à rede pública de energia cobre quase 90% das pessoas. E queremos rapidamente atingir os 100%. Água potável, 70% de todos os cabo-verdianos. E a nossa meta é atingir 100% até 2026 e até 2030. E o grande tema que nós queremos agora alcançar é, em 2026, com as medidas que estamos a tomar, eliminar a pobreza extrema em Cabo Verde. O ano não é mais importante, a ambição é que é importante. Nós queremos ser um país sem pobreza extrema, em que todos possam ter as condições para viver com dignidade e em dignidade. Para isso, nós já criamos uma taxa turística, onde nós vamos buscar os impostos para financiar esse combate. Montamos um sistema de cadastro social único, com o apoio do Banco Mundial, para sabermos quem é pobre, porque é que é pobre, onde que ele está, para que o Estado possa fazer política pública com justiça, com igualdade de oportunidades, com transparência. E estamos engajados enquanto governo para até 2026 eliminar a pobreza extrema em Cabo Verde. Eu convido a todos os meus colegas africanos que estão aqui que abraçamos esse desafio. Eliminar a pobreza extrema em África e reduzir a pobreza absoluta. Não se pode falar do capital humano com esses conceitos lindíssimos de empoderamento, capital humano, transição energética, transição digital e outros conceitos bonitos, quando temos milhões de africanos na pobreza e milhões de africanos na pobreza extrema a viver abaixo do limite daquilo que é a dignidade da pessoa humana. Mais uma vez, a pessoa humana é que é importante e a pessoa humana é que conta. Eu quero desafiar o Banco Mundial para que, termino a minha intervenção neste ponto, para que anualmente organizemos um encontro dos ministros africanos, do setor, mas também da família e inclusão social, com o chefe de Estado, para discutirmos uma agenda para eliminar a pobreza extrema em África. Nós queremos, Cabo Verde, acolher este evento já em 2024. E podemos fazer um ano num país africano e no ano seguinte como side event à margem das Assembleias Anuais do Banco Mundial e do Fundo Monetário Internacional, para, analisarmos os resultados, quem está a ter bons resultados ou não, as melhores práticas, onde estamos, compromissos com a nossa sociedade e mais, accountability, transparência, prestação de contas, não apenas ao nosso país, mas a todo o continente africano e a todo o mundo. E quem não estiver em condições de fazer isto, não pode estar em condições de governar hoje. Se nós não temos um olhar para aqueles que mais precisam, não temos a legitimidade para estarmos a governar. E, portanto, quero desafiar o Banco Mundial para que organizemos periodicamente este evento, quer acolher esse evento já em 2024, mas com foco na eliminação da pobreza extrema, olhar para as melhores práticas, para os resultados, mas sobretudo também estabelecer compromissos e engajamentos com o futuro, para que a África possa ser um continente livre da pobreza extrema, livre da pobreza, para que cada africano possa viver com dignidade e em dignidade. Não há nada que nos possa fazer mais felizes. Ver que os africanos têm as condições para viver com dignidade e em dignidade. E o capital humano é o início e o fim de tudo. O desenvolvimento é para as pessoas e o desenvolvimento é feito pelas pessoas. Por isso é que esta conferência é muito importante e agradeço imenso essa oportunidade de estar aqui e com essa mensagem de otimismo. Temos desafios, somos capazes, temos a força, temos os recursos, precisamos de boa liderança, de boa governação, transparência, accountability e, sobretudo, sentido de compromisso com os nossos concidadãos, com os nossos países, com o nosso continente e com o mundo. Vamos conseguir e bem-haja esta conferência. Muito obrigado.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1 ni Dr. Olavo Avelino Correia, ni makamu wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Cape Verde, akiweza kuzungumza hapo. Kabla yeye basi alikuwa alizungumza makamu wa rais Dr. Philip Mpango ambaye alifungua rasmi mkutano huu kwa siku ya leo, na ameingia mambo mengi sana, lakini kwa kutumia mkutano huu ya taasisi za kifedha duniani zitumie kuweza kufanya zaidi basi ili kuziweza kuzisaidia nchi za Afrika katika swala zima la kifedha, kwa sababu inavyoonekana kwamba kikubwa ambacho kinatatiza mataifa ya Afrika ni bajeti ndogo ya kifedha aliyokuwa nayo. Naam, makamu wa rais Dr. Philip Mpango akiwa anaondoka sasa hapa katika ukumbi huu wa JNCC ama kituo hiki cha JNCC, akitoka hapa katika mkumbi baada ya kufungua rasmi. Na mambo mengine ambayo amezungumzia Dr. Philip Mpango ni pamoja na hatua ambazo Tanzania imechukua katika kuhakikisha basi inawekeza katika mtaji wa rasilimali watu wake ama nguvu kazi yake, ambao wamesema kwamba katika sekta ya elimu wamefanya mambo mengi tu zaidi, ambapo wameongeza bajeti ya elimu na afya, lakini vile vile basi wameweza pia kujenga miundombinu katika sekta ya elimu na afya, na vile vile basi wameweza pia kutoa elimu bure kwa watu wote, ikiwa ni pamoja basi na wale wanafunzi ambao waliweza kupata ujauzito na kujifungua na waweza kuruhusiwa kuweza kurejea shuleni. Katika matokeo ya Anasema kwamba hatua hizi zimeweza kuleta matokeo chanya ama matokeo ambayo yamekuwa na tija kubwa, ambapo katika enroll wanafunzi shuleni, kwa maana kwamba ya kuchukua wanafunzi shuleni, kuingia wanafunzi shuleni, umeongezeka kutoka 85% mwaka 2015 hadi 95% mwaka 2021 kwa shule hizo za msingi. Lakini kwa upande wa sekta ya afya, anasema kwamba vifo vya watoto hai waliozaliwa vimepungua kutoka 67 katika vizazi hai 1000 mwaka 2015 hadi katika vizazi 43 kutoka katika vizazi hai 1000 mwaka wa 2022. Hivyo ndivyo ambavyo Dr. Mpango ameweza kuzungumzia mafanikio ambayo Tanzania imeyapata katika sekta ya afya, ama matokeo ambayo yamefanya katika sekta ya afya na elimu, na kuweza kuleta matokeo mazuri tu katika mtaji wa rasilimali watu wake. Naam, Anwari hapa yuko ambaye anaweza kupata kidogo tafsiri ya kile Dr. Olavo Avelino, makamu wa rais wa Cape Verde kuzungumzia. Tufahamishe hasa kizungumzio huko.
Naam, ni kweli kabisa Ahmed Salum, ukiangalia mara baada ya hotuba ya makamu wa rais Dr. Philip Mpango, hotuba ambayo iliyofuata ni Dr. Olavo Garcia Correa ambaye ni makamu wa rais wa nchi ya Cape Verde. Kikubwa alichosema ni kwamba alikuwa amini kama kuna taifa zuri zaidi ya Cape Verde barani Afrika. Alipofika hapa akaona kwamba hii ni nchi nzuri kabisa ya Tanzania, na hii ni sehemu sahihi ya kufanyika kwa mkutano huu wa mtaji wa rasilimali watu. Lakini kikubwa zaidi ameongea kwa hisia niseme kali sana swala zima la kutumia mtaji wa rasilimali watu kwa Afrika, akisema kwamba inakadiriwa kwamba itakapofika mwaka 2050 Afrika itakuwa na watu takriban bilioni 1 hadi bilioni 5. Sasa lazima uwekezaji uwe katika mfumo ama katika swala zima la mtaji wa rasilimali watu ambao ukitumika vyema utaweza kujenga miundombinu, barabara, madaraja, lakini kutatua pia changamoto za Afrika ambazo bado zipo hivi sasa, umasikini ule ukithiri. Na amezungumza kabisa kwamba bado Afrika inakabiliana na changamoto za uviko 19, lakini pia vita kati ya Ukraine na Urusi vimeleta changamoto kubwa. Kwa hiyo ni lazima Afrika iwekeze katika mtaji wa rasilimali watu, kwa sababu ikiwekeza katika mtaji huo itakuwa ni swala zuri sana katika swala zima la ajira, lakini pia swala zima la elimu. Lakini kingine ambacho alichogusia ni namna ambavyo Afrika inaweza ikapiga hatua katika swala zima la kutumia mtaji wa rasilimali watu, lakini endapo kama rushwa itaweza kupigwa vita, kwa sababu amesema kwamba viongozi wa Afrika wamekuwa kikutana wakijadili haya kwa kina sana, lakini utekelezaji ndio umekuwa ni changamoto, na hilo ni swala kubwa ambalo ni rushwa iliyokithiri ndio imekuwa ikiharimu masuala haya yasiweze kutekelezwa kwa 100%. Amezungumzia kusikitishwa kwa vijana wengi wa Kiafrika kwenda kutafuta maisha katika mataifa mengine hususan barani Ulaya na Marekani, wakisafiri katika njia za hatari, na hii ni kutokana na kukosa fursa Afrika. Kwa hiyo amesema hiki ni kitendo ambacho viongozi wa Afrika inabidi wajiulize. Afrika ina kila kitu, lakini kwa nini kumekuwepo na umaskini uliokithiri? Kwa nini kumekuwepo na changamoto ya nishati, watu wengi wapate nishati katika bara la Afrika? Lakini kwa nini elimu pia imekuwa ni changamoto kwa bara la Afrika? Kwa hiyo hilo ni swali ambalo ni lazima mkutano huu wa mtaji wa rasilimali watu unaofanyika Tanzania hapa Dar es Salaam watu wajadili kwa kina. Tatizo la Afrika ni nini? Ameelezea kwa kifupi Cape Verde jinsi harakati zinavyoendelea hivi sasa za kuondoa umaskini uliokithiri. Amesema 70% wameweza kutoa maji kwa raia wa nchi ya Cape Verde, lakini pia 90% katika swala zima la nishati, watu wanapata nishati katika nchi hiyo. Kwa hiyo amemalizia kusema kwamba anaialika Benki ya Dunia ielekee Cape Verde katika mkutano mwingine ambao taraji kufanyika, na pia amezungumzia Benki ya Dunia imekuwa ikifadhili miradi mbalimbali ikiwekeza fedha takriban dola bilioni 80 za Kimarekani kwa nchi za Afrika. Kwa hiyo fedha hizi zitakuwa hazina kitu endapo kama viongozi wa Afrika hawatokutekeleza yale ambayo wanapaswa kutekelezwa na ambayo wanajadili katika mikutano kama hii. Kwa hiyo ndivyo ambavyo amezungumza Dr. Olavo Garcia Correa, makamu wa rais wa Cape Verde.
Asante sana Anwar Mkama, baada ya kupata tafsiri hiyo ya kutoka kwenye Kireno huko. Unajua mtazamaji wa TBC, Kireno kidogo kwangu kipande, lakini kwa Anwari na kinapanda panda kidogo. Mtazamaji wa TBC, kwa kufikia hapa basi tunafikia tamati ya matangazo haya mbashara kabisa kutoka hapa katika kituo cha kimataifa cha mikutano cha Julius Nyerere. Kwa niaba ya mafundi mitambo na wengine wote waliofanikisha matangazo haya, mimi naitwa Ahmed Salum, mwenzangu alikuwa ni Anwar Mkama. Hadi wakati mwingine, asante na kwaheri.
It is therefore a great honor for Tanzania to be given an opportunity to host this remarkable event that aims at showcasing and sensitizing African heads of state on the importance of investing in human capital for sustainable economic growth in our continent.